Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Jasmy update. It's day number 1031 of the bear market, and as you can see here, I am anticipating a 25% rise of the Jasmy price from where we are sitting right now to reach something like $0.008 per Jasmy, which is our main resistance. And as you may know, this actually has got a narrative behind it. This is when Jasmy was put into the innovation zone by Binance, if anybody knows what that means. But before we get into the content, I just want to remind you that we are going to be doing a giveaway on the 1st of January 2024. We are going to be giving away 100,000 Jasmy coins to 3 lucky winners, meaning that each winner is going to be walking away with something like 33,000 Jasmy tokens. And according to the technical analysis that I'm going to show you in a minute, that could actually turn out to be $33,000 in the future if all goes well. So if you don't want to miss on that potential $33,000, all you have to do is make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and you have commented at least once in any of my videos. The reason why you should do that is that we are collecting usernames and we are going to be using them in a live draw, which we are going to be hosting actually as a live stream on the 1st of January, as I've already mentioned. So everybody's going to be witnessing who is going to be walking away with those 33,000 Jasmy coins, right? So without me running on too much, let me get into the content here. And as I was saying already, I expect something like a 25% run to the upside here for the Jasmy price. But I mean, that's really not enough, right? I think it's really also important to understand where Jasmy is sitting relative to other market participants here. So you can see here the Jasmy price set on a daily time frame, and you can see that we have got this main resistance that I was just mentioning. But I want you to compare that structure to the rest of the market. This is AVE, for example, and you can see, yeah, I mean, it's not really the exact same thing, but the behavior of the price set really is almost the same thing, right? You take a look at NEO, for example, which really has nothing to do with the innovation zone, but basically you see the same structure right here, right? You also see the same structure with VeChain here. You can also see the same structure with maybe Multiverse. You can also see the same structure here with JST, and you can also see the same structure here with Scale Network, for example. So basically what this means is Jasmy really has just been following what the rest of the market has been doing, and it's moving in tandem with the market, which is something that is not really new, honestly. So going back to the Jasmy price set here, if you go again and compare those structures, you can kind of see that there is something missing here with the Jasmy price set, right, according to those other market participants here. And if you have been paying attention, really, I mean, the talk of the town really has been at ICP here. And what you want to notice here with ICP is actually ICP was a laggard. I mean, many coins were already doing something like this before ICP did it. And really, it has been a case of late that these coins that you see pumping something like 30%, 25% in a day have actually been laggards because they're just following this whole structure here. So I won't be surprised if I see Jasmy tomorrow hitting something like a 30% because really this is what the rest of the market has been doing, right? So something like that is really expected here on the Jasmy price set. But obviously, what we have to do here with the Jasmy price set, as I mentioned already probably in my last video, is that we have to satisfy one certain condition right here, which is the 0.702 Fib retracement level, and that is lying at something like 0.00645, let's just say, right? So around that level here, if we get a break and close above that level there, I think, in my own opinion, this 25% move that we are anticipating is much more guaranteed right here. Because I mean, if you want to go down to the 4-hourly time frame right here, I mean, we talked about this, we even took a trade. I was posting it in my Patreon, I think it was last week, and I was saying when we were here, if we fail to break this candle here above the 0.702 Fib retracement level, we would expect an ABC correction. That's exactly what we got there. So we are back at those levels one more time. But then again, the first rule in technical analysis obviously is that the more you hit on a resistance or a support level, the more likely you are going to break it. I mean, we've already tried it like 3 times already, 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th time. If we manage to break a daily candle and close above 0.064.5, something like that, we are really good set for this one. As I already mentioned, that Jasmy is also a laggard here and is just following the rest of the market. So that could actually turn out to be great here in the immediate short term, right? But I also want you to notice that the price here is sitting in the middle of nowhere. This is usually called the dumb money zone, right? Not a nice term, honestly, but here is where all the liquidations happen right here. Because you know what happens here is that, for example, you can see that we are in an uptrend like this one. So once the market starts losing these higher lows here, people start panicking, because you need to understand that some people would have gotten in right here, some people got in right here, some people got in right here, some people got in right here, some people right here. So if people who got right in here start losing their focus and start selling right here, it's going to have a cascading effect, right? And the price could also just do something like this here, like coming back to the support levels that we were. But I want to take a straight position with you, obviously, because I don't want to be saying, okay, if this happens, then this will not happen, then, this and that. And then in the end of the day, I'll be right? So I'm going to take one specific position so that you already know where I am, right? Not saying, okay, if this happens, then this happens. I think Jasmy is following the rest of the market, and then we are going to experience something like a 25% just to catch up with the rest of the market. This is a likelihood, but I'm not taking that position right now, as I already mentioned. So when you hear me saying, well, oh yeah, I told you this, just feel free to tell me that, you know what, guy, you say that you were expecting something like 25% of the upside. But so I think we're already clear there. Then the next question obviously is, what is going to happen to Jasmy when we get back to this resistance at something like $0.008? I think that we are going to be headed for some epic price action right here, because we have been following this falling wedge for the longest of time, right? Remember when we're back here, I said that we have had a breakout. This whole thing, really, as gruesome as it has been, I mean, I think it's just a back test of this whole thing. It is only going to be confirmed when we get back to those levels. It's like $0.08 per Jasmy. So once we get a break and close above that level, we are set for something like 4.5 cents, that about 5 cents we can even say, and something like 9, 10, 11 cents, that about, which are the price targets of this falling wedge. I always say time and again that this is probably one of the best setup in crypto, because in markets in general, really, because it has something like a 66% win rate. So once we get back to these levels here at something like $0.008 per Jasmy, I think we are really set for this kind of price action, right? But obviously here we need to take a step back and see what the rest of the market is doing again. If we want to take a look at total 2, which basically is the market cap of all crypto excluding Bitcoin here, you can see that, yeah, the resistance that we have been measuring, this would actually be the equivalent of something like $0.08 per Jasmy, and that has been broken, and it seems like we are still trying to work on it to back test it nice and easy, and then we'll be pushing to the upside one more time, right? Now, if we happen to be pushing to the upside, breaking this higher high that we had set right here, and Jasmy is still below that $0.008 resistance there, I think that is going to be broken with much ease compared to, what would have happened if we were still trying to work out this area, because what it basically means is that the whole market is kind of struggling, right? But then again, the good news is that we have had some kind of market leaders right here. I want to give the example of Cardano, which actually managed to break that resistance level right there. So if you go to ADA, this is obviously the market cap of Cardano, and you see that the equivalence of that $0.008 per Jasmy here has already been broken. So that's pretty cool there. Another example for market leader that has broken that resistance is something like Rune here, which you can see that it clearly broke above this level. So this situation is also possible for Jasmy, but only if the rest of the market is really doing well, right? But if you are someone who tuned into the video, seeing that that $20 price target that we have here for the Jasmy price, let me quickly show you how I got to that price target right there. So you see, this is the whole Jasmy price right here, the all-time price action of Jasmy. Not really the best chart out there, but then again, once you zoom in here, you can kind of see something that is really common that happens time and again in this market, which I want you to start looking at this area wise. So this is the high, which started something like 33 cents thereabout, and I've made videos on this like so many times. Why? So we were comparing this structure obviously to the previous bear markets right here. We're comparing it to Cardano, for example. I mean, it's undeniable that these things, they really look similar. Different cryptocurrencies, obviously, by all metrics, but then again, the chart is the chart, right? Also here we've got Neo, also very different from Cardano, but you can even see the same kind of price action happening right here. We also got even Ethereum, the king of altcoins, having the same kind of structure. So basically, in my own opinion, it really doesn't matter what kind of crypto you are talking about, because I see sometimes, for example, in my own comment section, that people will be like, you're comparing Cardano to Jasmy, for example, or you're comparing Ethereum to Jasmy. Those things are incomparable and all that, right? But the chart is the chart in my own opinion, because of course, I mean, Cardano and Ethereum also have got very different circumstances, also have got different circumstances to Neo and other altcoins there, right? But this was actually a very prevalent structure, and we see time and again in markets. But if we had like an hour or something like that, I'll probably obviously give you a lot of examples. I mean, as many as I can, but for the sake of time, I just work with 3 examples or something like that. So what we've been using these structures is to try and determine how long we are going to last in this bear markets, and probably how high can we go with something like this. But so going back to the Jasmy price side, I think it's really clear that we have the same thing happening right here, where you see this rally, crash to the downside, and then we've got a rally before you just go flat in this price set, which basically is the same thing that you see here with a chart like Cardano. You just go to the downside, you rally a little bit, and then you go flat, and then you continue even higher, right? But also you have with Neo here, which did basically the same thing, but then never saw its previous high there, right? Which, I mean, it is a likely situation. Obviously, everything is on the table. But then again, let's quickly go and try to determine some price targets by this. So we want to start here with the worst case scenario, which was Neo. So we want to grab our Fibonacci adjustment 2 from the very top here. And then we want to grab it all the way down to the bottom. I know some people really, really hate it. I see it in my comment, but I think this is something that has really helped me in market time. And again, Fibonacci adjustment 2s have just been perfect for me, but I'm just speaking for myself anyway. So we are looking at Neo right here, which actually managed to hit something like a 702 Fibonacci adjustment level. Going back to Jasmy, let's just apply the same thing here. We can see that if Jasmy goes on to reach something like 0.702 Fibonacci adjustment level, we are looking at 23 cents for Jasmy, which I think is a very, very possible price target, because if Jasmy could reach 33 cents once, why wouldn't it reach 23 cents, right? I mean, it's obviously a long shot from where we are, but something that is really, really possible. And I can't wait for gains like this ones, really. I don't know how you're feeling, but I really believe you're optimistic with the Jasmy price set here. And then also, if we want to compare what Cardano did, which was one of the best case scenarios, honestly, and we can see that from the very top here to the very bottom of that structure here, you can see Cardano. This is shaky a little bit, but I can tell you with a high degree of certainty that in the best chart right here, you can see a 2.618 Fib retracement level being hit. Going back to Jasmy, compare the 2.618, you are looking at something like 86 cents here for Jasmy. And then the best case scenario, obviously, which is much more unlikely to happen, was Ethereum, which is something like a 3.618 Fib retracement level. And you can see here that it was perfectly hit. Coming back to Jasmy, if you happen to reach something like the 3.618 Fib retracement level, you are looking at something like $1.20 here for Jasmy. Something that is possible. Jasmy would have had to have a market cap of something like 60 billion. If Jasmy is a successful project with what they are doing with the data privatization and decentralization, I think a 60 billion market cap is not something that is actually very, very hard to achieve. But obviously, the project would have to be very successful, right? I don't know how that is going to happen, but I mean, to be really, really conservative, I would look at something like 23 cents, 26 cents thereabout, probably pulling out most of my Jasmy investment right around that level, because I think these lower Fib retracement levels are actually much more easier to reach than these higher Fib extension levels right there. But from a chart perspective, it's looking like obviously it's possible that Jasmy can actually reach something like $1.20. That's actually something that is on the table, in my own opinion. The likelihood may be low, but this market really has taught me to never say never in situations like these ones here when trying to predict the price of an altcoin. That's pretty much it from me today. Remember, none of what I say is financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say, alright? But if you like the content, don't forget to tap the like button, share the video with your friends and family.